It seems like King of the Ring might be coming back. I might be wrong, but over SmackDown they've been doing a feud that is all about kings. You know, King Corbin, crowned King of Strong Style. King Corbin, crowned King of Strong Style. They've mentioned this like 1,000 times, and it's so goddamn annoying. And if this does not end in King of the Ring, then what's the point, right? So, I know King of the Ring has been not the most interesting concept, but I personally think that they can absolutely knock it out of the park given the right booking. You have to ensure that you put over people that deserve to be put over. So, what would happen if I was in charge of King of the Ring? What would I bring to the table, and who would I put over as the next King of the Ring? Let's begin. But before we begin, I would just like to ask you for a subscription. Right now, 79.5% of you are not subscribed. I know there's a cliche YouTuber asking for subscription, but that means a lot to me. Every single subscription matters more than you can imagine. We're very close to 500 subscribers, and that'll be a huge milestone for me. I have so many more content coming up too, so you should subscribe not to miss a lot of fantasy booking videos, including the WWE draft, how I would do every single draft and why, the perfect SummerSlam booking and SummerSlam card, John Cena's final run in WWE and his potential heel turn. I said I would do the WWE tag division, but since they've let go of like 3 of their tag teams, I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is the AEW women's division, and finally Finn Balor's return to the main roster. All of that coming up very soon. Also, why not subscribe, because I'm bringing back the rebooking series. I have Samoa Joe in WWE rebooking, Shayna Baszler main roster debut, as well as Strowman's Monster in the Bank gimmick rebooking all the way from the beginning to the end coming up very soon. I would really like it if you subscribe. I also have other series like how I would book, rankings. Yeah, it's fun. Next week, probably bringing Money in the Bank winners in 2021. That'll be fun. And if you're part of the 20.5% who have subscribed, that means the world to me. Okay, let's get on with the video. So, first of all, let's talk about King of the Ring, right? It has become basically a thing that you don't really want to see. It's just there, and the last winner has been Corbin. Before that, it was Bad News Barrett, and before that, it was Sheamus. Pointless. None of them have done much in their career. Sheamus has had a little bit of a resurgence. He was world champion once. No one remembers that. But yeah, they haven't done shit. Corbin hasn't done shit ever since he turned king. So that's stupid. So what do we plan to accomplish from King of the Ring? Is it just giving them a crown? No. We're going to give them a world championship opportunity right after King of the Ring ends. So the next pay-per-view after King of the Ring ends, they get a world championship opportunity. This ties in 2 things. A, are we going to pick a person that we know can become champion because they are or have been champions before, and do we give them this platform? Or B, do we put over some new people who have never won the championship before but are more than able to do so given the right consequences or the right situations? That is an interesting concept to play with, and if you bring in some pretty big names with some pretty good wrestlers, there you go. You've got your entire story right there. So, here is my pitch for King of the Ring. 16 superstars, and 8 of them will be former world champions. 8 of them will be never world champions. They've never been world champions in this corporation, that is WWE, and this gives them a platform to prove that yeah, they are championship material, while also defeating former champions, proving their words along the way. Or maybe the champions are better than the people who have never won the championships. Maybe there is a reason they've never won the world championship, and they prove themselves and they go for the championship. This is a very interesting narration that you can play with. Alright, let's start exactly where we are. Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Let's make a match and Money in the Bank. Sure, Money in the Bank, Baron Corbin versus Shinsuke Nakamura is opening the show, not opening the show, or is on the pre-show. It's over. The feud is over. Rick Books is gone. I don't know who you are. You're gone. It's done for now. Next week on Raw, Adam Pearce announces that they are going to bring back King of the Ring very soon. Right now there are talks going on, but they are going to bring King of the Ring back, and Baron Corbin and Shinsuke Nakamura have already entered the tournament. This does not seem like the most interesting thing, right? Shinsuke Nakamura, sure. Baron Corbin again? Sheesh. listen to me, this will make sense. Heading into SummerSlam, we don't hear much about King of the Ring other than the things that, Adam Pearce says that there are some big names that I'm planning to bring into King of the Ring. You have to make sure that people want to see King of the Ring and not just tune in for a random episode of Raw and have a match and just move on, right? Say that he's bringing some major names in this match or this tournament because he is. At SummerSlam, it is announced that next night, King of the Ring will be announced. It will be announced on next night. So, a little bit of SummerSlam booking right here because that might be important. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley, WWE Championship. Bobby Lashley retains. Roman Reigns versus Edge for the Universal Championship. Why not John Cena? We'll get to that in a minute. Roman retains. And finally, without a shadow of a doubt, John Cena versus Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's final match, the retirement match. He wants this match and he should have this match. His last opponent should not be Baron Corbin, for fuck's sake. And Angle wins. Angle surprisingly wins. He might have wanted to put over John Cena again, but no, he wins the match and John Cena is surprised that an old man such as Angle actually beat him, right? And Edge, why Edge is facing Roman Reigns is because he never got his singles match. Daniel Bryan did multiple times. He kind of got screwed over at WrestleMania because Daniel Bryan was in this match. He did not deserve to be, in all honesty. So, yeah, that's why he has this match, and it's fun, and Roman retains, and it's great. Next night, Adam Pearce announces that the King of the Ring is coming back, and it will start from next Raw, and the participants will be announced on SmackDown. This also makes you want to see SmackDown, so that's fun. He announces that there will be 16 people, 8 former champions, and 8 never champions. People that have never been former world champions or have ever won world championships in this company. 4 from SmackDown, 4 from Raw, 4 former champions from Raw, and 4 former champions from SmackDown as well. I hope it's not too complicated. So, who are the 8 people who have never won the championship? Well, let's start with from Raw, John Morrison. Surprisingly, I thought he had sometimes won the World Heavyweight Championship. He actually did not. So, John Morrison, right after splitting with The Miz, I don't want to see them together again. Morrison is too good for that. He enters the King of the Ring Championship, King of the Ring tournament in hopes of winning the big one. Also from Raw, Ricochet. Ricochet is one of the most underrated flippy dude in WWE. Everyone knows how good he is except WWE because all he does is have matches on Raw getting defeated by Sheamus, or he's on main event facing Ali. Why the fuck? I don't know. Next up, from SmackDown, Shinsuke Nakamura, one of the guys who started this entire thing, and his rivalry with Corbin is what kind of made WWE bring back King of the Ring. Nakamura is one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers of all time, so this should be a good addition. Next up, from Raw, a returning Keith Lee. Lee is announced and he is back and he's better than ever and he looks better than ever. And he immediately is put in the King of the Ring tournament, and this seems like a big deal because Keith Lee we know can be phenomenal if given the right opportunities. Never forget Keith Lee in NXT. He was super good. Another guy who is announced is Baron Corbin from SmackDown. Of course he is. It was announced earlier, but Baron Corbin is introduced in this as a threat. He is a pretty decent wrestler and he is a pretty big dude. He can take down a lot of people. So that's great. Next up, Xavier Woods from Raw. Woods has been clamoring for King of the Ring ever since 2016, I believe, and it is actually really sad that last 2 years ago he was not part of King of the Ring, which is the saddest thing I think I've ever heard. Sami Zayn from SmackDown enters King of the Ring, and his entire thing is that he will get screwed over. He will lose the tournament because there's a conspiracy going on. He knows that he's being put in the tournament to make him feel like, yeah, he's been given opportunities, but at the end of the day, he is not because there's a conspiracy. I don't know, just he's crazy. That's it. And the final guy who has never won a world championship in WWE who is going to enter King of the Ring is Cesaro from SmackDown. Because of course it is. Cesaro is so good and they have not pulled the trigger on him yet. I really hope they do sometimes. He's at his end. He's not going to be wrestling for like 10 more years, right? Do something with him, please. And now we get to the people who have been champions before and are gunning for another opportunity at the titles. We're starting with AJ Styles from Raw, one of the best of all time. Recently, he lost his tag championships to, someone, and he is back in the singles division. And to be fair, I think he would be a great addition to the Raw singles division again. Next up, from SmackDown, it's Rey Mysterio. Mysterio is a pretty underrated name right now. I think he is exactly where he needs to be in the tag division. I think that'll be great if he stays there, but he enters the tournament and that'll be fun, right? Having him there will be fun. It's Rey Mysterio. Everyone loves him. From Raw, Kofi Kingston. Just recently, Kofi Kingston has lost his championship opportunity or number one contenders match against Drew McIntyre. It was sad. I really wanted to see Kofi Kingston versus Bobby Lashley. So putting him in this scenario can make you feel like, yeah, we're building towards that. Although we're not, because in my booking by that time it will be Finn Balor who's champion. That's another thing. But absolutely, Kofi Kingston is entering King of the Ring. And so is from SmackDown Seth Rollins. The Friday Night Messiah enters with vengeance in mind. He wants another championship and he wants to lead by example by becoming the best in the goddamn company. And how else do you do it other than being the world champion? Now we're getting to the big names, the really, really big names, starting with Raw's Randy Orton. Of course we are. Randy Orton is in this tournament. You might be surprised to hear that Riddle isn't. But that's because I don't want to put him in this tournament yet. I could not find a place for him where he does not get buried, basically. Randy Orton is a 16-time world champion, I'm pretty sure. And if he wins the championship again, they'll be record-breaking. Of course he's in this one, and he'll always be a threat for any champion going forward. From SmackDown, we have Edge. Recently, after losing his championship opportunity against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, he wants another opportunity, but what a better way to get it than win King of the Ring. Edge is more than capable of holding his own in the ring, and if we can stretch it to maybe a lot more matches, Edge is going to be a big part of WWE going forward, potentially even winning King of the Ring. The final two are here, and of course, the last guy is going to be from Raw, but now from SmackDown is John Cena. John Cena for me is from SmackDown. I wanted to include him in SmackDown because John Cena in King of the Ring, a lot of people are gonna be like, holy shit, what? Wait, Cena's in this? Alright, we gotta watch this now. And it's weird because Cena just lost his match against Angle and is immediately in this, and he wants another World Heavyweight Championship opportunity to officially become the greatest of all time in terms of championships. And finally, this is never going to happen, but I want this to happen. From Raw, Brock Lesnar. Hey, listen, go fuck yourself. If Brock Lesnar enters the tournament, there'll be so many people who want to see the tournament just to see Brock Lesnar wrestle, and it'll be a big deal. That will be so big deal for King of the Ring. Everyone will tune in to watch it. Everyone will be like, oh god, there are so many big names in this. I have to watch it now. This is the deal that Brock Lesnar will bring to the table. And this is why I have included him in the King of the Ring tournament. So, what is my structure for King of the Ring? Well, here is what's going to happen. There are going to be 4 qualifying matches from each brand. So 8 qualifying matches in total. That will lead to the quarterfinals, then semi-final, then the final at Survivor Series between the winner from Raw and the winner from SmackDown to crown King of the Ring. Here are the qualifying matches. We're going to start at Raw and end in SmackDown. From Raw, the first one is going to be Xavier Woods versus John Morrison. Because it's a pretty decent match to start King of the Ring with. You're not giving away something exceptionally a big name, but also it makes you want to tune in because both of them are going to be able to put up a good match. Xavier Woods wins because he's been clamoring for this for a while now. Next up, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton play into their history together. The fact that Randy Orton is essentially a reason that Kofi Kingston was not a champion for a long time. Orton also does not see Kofi as a threat because, well, he did defeat Kofi multiple times, and it's sad because Kofi goes over Orton, and Orton gets really annoyed and then, I don't know, devours the tag division or something. I don't fucking know. Also, on Monday Night Raw, we see Keith Lee versus AJ Styles in the qualifying match, and Keith Lee goes over. The reason for that is I'm pretty sure that Styles he's been a multiple time world champion, and putting over Lee by Styles will be a big deal, a very big deal. One thing I should mention is that every single match that I've mentioned is going to take place on Raw, and it will be the main event. If you want to make people watch King of the Ring, you have to book it as such. You have to make sure that it is seen as a big thing. Finally, we come to Clash of Champions, where the final match takes place for the Raw qualifying match. Brock Lesnar versus Ricochet. Why? Why am I putting Ricochet against Lesnar? Well, Ricochet got humiliated a few months ago, actually, about a year ago, and he's been clamoring for another opportunity. He actually kind of beats Brock Lesnar. He does not beat Brock Lesnar as in pin him, but at moments it does look like Ricochet might be able to pull it off and pull off the upset. He's not. He loses, but he puts in a valiant effort, and Brock Lesnar has to acknowledge the fact that Ricochet did become a big deal within a year. This is a way to put over Ricochet in defeat. So, what does happen on SmackDown? Well, the first match that will make you want to see more of it is Edge versus Sami Zayn. Why? Well, Edge goes over, and this plays into the clamor that, oh, Sami Zayn was put in a match against one of the best of all time, and this is a conspiracy theory against Sami Zayn. No one wants him to be the world champion, and that's why everyone is against him or something. Just play into that character, it's fucking great. Next up, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Baron Corbin. Probably the match that probably should be further down the line, but this is what started it, and we've seen that multiple times by now. So Nakamura defeats Corbin clean, and now it is guaranteed that we will have a new King of the Ring. Next up, Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. Why this match? Well, they have a little bit of a history together, and also Rollins took out Mysterio's eye, so that's stupid. But yeah, Rollins goes over Mysterio because Mysterio is a part of the tag division, so this should not affect him too much. And finally, on Clash of Champions, Cesaro versus John Cena. This should be the match that opens the card, and to everyone's surprise, Cesaro defeats John Cena. Why? Well, first of all, this is a very subtle attempt at starting a John Cena heel turn. He lost to Angle, and now he lost to a rookie such as Cesaro. Maybe John Cena is not as good as he remembers himself to be. So maybe he has to do some underhanded tactics to actually defeat people. A very subtle start to a heel turn, and also Cesaro's great, so of course it is. The quarterfinals are going to take place exactly on Raw, 2 weeks apart. The first match will be Kofi Kingston versus Xavier Woods, and this was probably the toughest decision that I've had to make in this entire video. No joke. It's such a tough decision, but Kofi Kingston goes over. I know Xavier Woods probably deserves more because he was the guy clamoring for that attention for King of the Ring to return, but he's putting over his buddy, his tag team partner, so I don't think he would mind that very much. Over on SmackDown the same week, we see Shinsuke Nakamura versus Edge. This is a match I would really like to see, and of course, Nakamura wins. He's going forward. Edge, of course, he defeated Sami Zayn, but could not defeat Nakamura, and after the match, they actually shake hands. That's a pretty decent show of respect. This should be the headlining SmackDown, and this should be a very good match to end that SmackDown. 2 weeks after that, we see Brock Lesnar versus Keith Lee headlining Raw. This should bring wide eyes to Raw, just bringing that attention. Brock Lesnar is wrestling on Raw, and he's facing Keith Lee, A lot of people will see it. It will probably be over 2 million views. But yeah, absolutely. Brock Lesnar versus Keith Lee. Lesnar wins. Lee gets a match against Lesnar and he takes Lesnar to his limit. But unfortunately, Brock Lesnar is too big of a name to job out on Monday Night Raw. And finally, on the same week, we have SmackDown with Cesaro versus Rollins. They also have a bit of a history together, so that should be a little bit of a story going forward. Cesaro defeats Rollins, and that is very sad. But after the match, Rollins attacks Cesaro, attacking his arm, and leaves him in the middle of the ring with his arm clutched, looking like he broke his arm. Rollins is angry, and he took out his anger on Cesaro. Now, out comes Extreme Rules, and what match do we have? Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston will be putting over promos every now and then saying that Brock Lesnar humiliated Kofi Kingston a few years ago. And Kofi Kingston is ready for Brock Lesnar now, and while that isn't exactly true, Kofi Kingston does better than anyone thinks he does. It's so annoying, but at one point he almost defeats Brock Lesnar but cannot because it's Brock Lesnar, and it's a 20-minute match with Lesnar just barely managing to win. This just shows that the people that Lesnar has defeated before are not the same people that he left them to be. They have been clamoring for opportunities, and when given them, they can actually win. Kingston didn't, but he almost did win. Also on the same card, we have from SmackDown the semi-final, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Cesaro. This is going to be a babyface versus babyface match, but more importantly, this is going to be a match between two former tag team members, and this is going to be a pretty decent match. Both of them are really good wrestlers, and the reason Cesaro loses can be because, well, his arm was really hurt. So you're also sort of saving Cesaro there as well. Nakamura wins, and the match is made for Survivor Series. Brock Lesnar versus Shinsuke Nakamura. At this point, you let out a rumor that the WWE officials really want Brock Lesnar versus Finn Balor for TLC, because by that time Finn Balor is the WWE champion. He really should be. So this starts a little bit of a narration that Brock Lesnar is going over, and yeah, Nakamura made it all the way to the end, and that is pretty decent. But at Survivor Series, Shinsuke Nakamura wins. He wins the tournament by defeating Brock Lesnar after hitting 3 Kinshasas. This will be the main event of Survivor Series. So it went all the way from main eventing Raw, main eventing SmackDown, to main eventing one of the big 4 pay-per-views. This is how you make King of the Ring good again. Something that people want to see, right? And so Shinsuke Nakamura at TLC defeats Finn Balor and becomes the WWE champion, the thing everyone wanted but never got. And yeah, Lesnar can go on and face, I don't know, Goldberg again at WrestleMania, I don't care. Nakamura versus Styles, or Nakamura versus probably Lesnar again at WrestleMania would be great. Yeah, that would be more than okay. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comments. And as always, please do let me know if you want to see anything else in the fantasy booking or rebooking or anything like that. If you like the video, please do hit like, share and subscribe with bell notification on. What do you want to see next? I will probably do a fan request video really soon. And yeah, thank you again. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.